What's up, guys? Sean here. I'm at the shop. Well, I'm out back of the shop sitting in my car so I could get some quiet, but just wanted to do a little video, show you guys what I'm carrying on the last day of my 20s. As of tomorrow, I will be 30 years old. Can't say I'm too excited about that. Probably my first birthday that I wasn't too excited about, but have some sort of plans for the weekend. Planning on going across the Bay Bridge back to my hometown where all my friends are that I haven't seen in years, and hopefully catch up with some of them, go out, have some fun. So, hopefully that all goes well and I can have a good time. And yeah, it's the beginning of a new chapter of my life, starting off the next chapter of my life. I can no longer be considered a young adult or a kid. I feel like 30 is that point where, once you hit 30, you are a 100% adult. Your life is much different than it is at the beginning of your 20s. It's just really crazy to think about how fast it flies by. So if you are younger, if you're in your early 20s, man, make the most of it and don't ever wish any time away. Make the most out of every day, because that time flies by fast and you never get it back. So anyways, I wanted to show you guys what I carried today. My primary carry today is my Socom Elite Tanto. Amazing knife. Probably the only knife that I would trust my life with besides this one is possibly my Hinderer XM18. But I mean, this knife right here, it's lighter. You have longer blade, amazing ergonomics, extremely strong, very strong knife. Also very good looking, great action. You don't have the flipper, so you have thumb studs only, but with some practice you can reverse flick it. The access to the liner lock on this one is not excellent. Now, I had another Socom Tanto in for sharpening, but that one, the lock wasn't as difficult to get to. So I think on mine, this little the lock bar might be sitting down a hair lower than it was on the other one that I sharpened, or it just might have more tension. Not really sure. Actually, it definitely has a little bit more tension. So I don't know if it's the same for all Socom Elites. I've heard different things. I've heard that the lock bar access is great and very easy to disengage, and it's certainly not difficult, but it's not as good as I feel like it should be. But I do have a Socom Elite on the way, and for sharpening, that is the clip point, which is really cool because I haven't had one of those in hand. Haven't had a chance to really check out one of their clip point Socom Elites, and that's something I've definitely been interested in, nor have I had the chance to sharpen one of them. So excited for that, and I can definitely come back around to the lock bar access deal with that one and make comparisons, see if that one is any easier. I kind of expect it will be, because on the other Socom Elite that I had in for sharpening, it was definitely easier. But besides this one, I'm carrying in my left pocket my MAXAMET Spyderco Para 3. And I did a mustard patina on this one. And then I sharpened it to 15 degrees per side on the KME. And I did this with the Veneve stones. This is either an F400 or an F800 edge. It did somewhere in the 50s on the best test, I believe. Maybe 40s. Very sharp. Great action, super smooth. Have the Cerberus radar scales on here. These are G10, and I dyed them black with RIT dye. Have the that's the MXG Gear Para 3 clip, which I really love the MXG Gear Para 3 clip. I think that is the clip to get for the Para 3. When it comes to the PM2s, I prefer the Lynch Northwest clip. When it comes to the Shaman, I think the Lynch Northwest clip is a little bit better. It's a little bit more sturdy. But when it comes to Para 3s, MXG Gear is definitely the way to go, in my humble opinion. But yeah, great knife, especially with the skinny scales. I will say, I do like the Para 3 also with the standard scales and the Spyderco G10. I mean, it's good. It's plenty good the way it comes, but skinny scales are pretty cool. I'm sorry for my shaky hand. I haven't ate anything yet today, and I just cracked open a monster. Alright guys, so I just did away with that glare. I put a towel up in my window that I had down on the floor, and I must need to vacuum in here because it just kicked up a shit ton of dust. But yeah, this is my new car as of, I don't know, I've had it for probably like 2 months now. It's also a Honda Pilot like my last one, just newer. Love it. Honda Pilot's a great car. But all right, back to the knives. So yeah, Para 3, amazing little, very capable Spyderco knife. The only thing that I'd say this is not capable of is things that aren't cutting tasks, like prying, or, you know, when I see a lot of times when people end up breaking, or I see a lot of times when people end up breaking a Spyderco blade, especially on a Para 3 or a PM2, they break it cutting a really thick zip tie, but their knife is probably not very sharp. You know, if your knife's sharp, it makes a big difference. You're gonna go through something without breaking your blade. But because their knife is not sharp, and they stick the blade up in between the zip tie and the surface or whatever, and then they go like this and twist the blade. If you twist the blade and you put lateral tension on the blade at your tip, where the blade is the thinnest, depending on the blade steel, you're gonna break that blade. You know, some blade steels, especially really hard, you know, high HRC blade steels like MAXAMET, this steel is harder than glass. But guess what? If you take it and you put a lot of lateral tension on this blade, it's not meant to withstand a whole lot of lateral tension. So you're gonna end up breaking it. There's a much higher chance of it, versus if you find a way to get the tip up underneath of the zip tie and cut straight through it, you're not gonna break your knife. And you shouldn't be prying with your knives anyway. Now, a knife like this can withstand it, you know, and for as robust as this blade is, it is a very good cutter, surprisingly good. So I don't know what kind of magic they did with the blade grind and the geometry, because it's by no means slicey. It's not thin behind the edge, at least not from the factory. Once you lay the edge back, as far as I did, it does cut even better. But even sharpened at the higher angle from the factory, it still cuts a lot better than you would think. And I think that also has a lot to do with the handle design, the length of the handle. I've noticed on knives that I have a full grip on the handle and even have some left over sticking out behind my palm, those blades, you're able to have a lot more leverage. So regardless of the edge geometry, it's going to feel like less resistance cutting through that material. But oh yeah, so my additional carries, or my, you know, to switch up in the middle of the day or whatever, really just because when you have a shit ton of knives that, and they're, you know, you have so many amazing knives, you can only carry and use really so many of them, you know. So being that I have so many good ones, I'm not going to carry just one, even though just this knife alone would be, you know, good for anything that I would ever need a knife for. And I don't have to worry about this thing breaking or failing. I don't need a backup knife when I'm carrying this, but it's more so just so I can spread out the love, honestly. But anyway, so this is my little EDC pouch. I carry this in my left back pocket, and, you know, in my right back pocket I carry my wallet. So it basically feels just like a wallet, but you can carry 2 more knives. And a lot of people don't really use their left back pocket, at least I typically don't, so might as well take advantage of it. It's better than having these clipped in your back pocket, because if these were clipped in my back pocket, it would be tearing up my leather seats. I'd have holes in my leather seats within, you know, probably 2 or 3 times of sitting in the car with a knife hanging out of the back pocket. So this completely sits inside your back pocket, nothing sticking out, so it's not going to tear up the seats in your car. That is a very good benefit also. Then you have a pouch on the back. You can put your cards in there, money in there, whatever. Really cool little EDC pouch. This was a gift from Denise, so I haven't talked to her in a little while, but another shout out to Denise. She has been a great supporter of the channel, so definitely appreciate her. And back to the knives. So this is my Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive Arctic Storm PM2, except I swapped out the DLC coated M4 blade with a DLC coated CPM S90V blade. Oh, I don't know if you can read that, how good the camera or how good the video is going to look in here, but try to get you a decent view. And then I put this clip on it. This clip was, I believe it's from Etsy. It's kind of like a Rips Garage Tech knockoff, which is messed up, and I don't support clones, but I also don't have $60 or $70 to be spending on a pocket clip, and I do really like the design, and I wanted to try it out without spending that much money. Now, after trying this out, I can say I probably would buy a Rips Garage Tech clip if I had the extra money for it, for sure. Do I like it better than a Lynch clip? Not for functionality and practicality. For actual, like, you know, functional use, the Lynch clip does better for me. But as far as looks go, this clip looks a lot sexier, and it still functions great, you know, no issues. It's very solid. You're not going to have any type of flex with it, so that's really cool. Look at this action, watch. No wrist, just That's with no blade play, right? So you the pivot is all the way tight. There's zero blade play. Very, very silky smooth, hydraulic, as you can see, which I like the hydraulic drop. I don't like, you know, it's not impressive to me if it just drops straight down really fast, because you can do that with anything, just with either bearings or a loose pivot. But when you have the pivot all the way tightened up, no blade play, and it just floats down nice and controlled, oh my God, there's something very satisfying about that. Yeah, I tune all my knives to perfection. And for my pivot lube, I use Gunny Glide or Gunny Slides. I believe I have Gunny Slides in this one. That's the thicker viscosity. Really, really good stuff. Love it. The Gunny Glide will make this drop a little bit faster probably. And then for the Para 3, this one, I need to tighten up that pivot, so that's not a good candidate to show action. But yeah. So then the last one that I'm carrying is my Ultratech, Microtech Ultratech. This is one that I've had for a good while now, and it has really grown on me. Blade steel on this one is LMAX. I can't really tell you my opinions on the cutting performance too much, or well, I can tell you the cutting performance, but the performance of the blade steel I can't say too much on, because I honestly don't cut a lot with this. But the cutting that I have done with it, it does surprisingly well. You know, I've heard so many people say that they don't really have good cutting geometry, you know, and that since it's such a short blade grind, you know, from the spine down to the apex, but it's pretty damn thin also. And it's not thick by any means at the spine. And I'll tell you what, this thing passes through some cardboard very, very easily. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad cutter. And as far as if you were gonna EDC and OTF, I'd probably go with a Microtech, just because they've stood the test of time. It is a proven design, it's proven reliability, proven strength and toughness. I mean, you can check out the torture test videos. They put these, you know, all the Microtech knives, they put through the most insane stuff. And for as lightweight and fidgety as the Microtech knives are, I mean, they are very, very strong. And if you notice, pretty much the majority of the handles on Microtechs are all like 70-75 aircraft grade aluminum, and aluminum is lighter than titanium, it's lighter than steel, so that saves a lot of weight there. And yeah, I think that's kind of why a lot of them are so light. Like, this is a massive folder right here, yet it is, you would not, if somebody was able to put this in your hand without you closing your hand and feeling how large it is, you probably wouldn't guess that it's a 4-inch folder. Not only a 4-inch folder, but a hard use capable, robust 4-inch folder. So that's pretty insane. Then last thing we're going to talk about, my boy Cody's knife. This is the Spyderco Shaman. We have the oh, what kind of micarta is this? It's not the linen. Not linen micarta. No, I'm not a big micarta fan, so I can't think of the name of it right now, but When he sent this knife to me, it had a lot of blade play, and it had horrible action when I went to tighten it up. So not only did I sharpen it for him, but I took it apart, polished up his washer, put some gunny glide, and then tuned it and locked the screws down. So now nice and smooth with no blade play. And that is with it, you know, these screws tighten down rock solid. You are not flexing this blade at all. And the reason I'm wearing gloves is so I don't get fingerprints and oils from my skin on the blades and stuff. I knew it was going to be hard enough to get good shots of the blades and the lighting inside my car right now, especially with the location that I am parked back behind the shop. But just wanted to show you guys this edge I put on here for him on his S90V Shaman. And this is actually the first Shaman I've experienced with an uneven blade grind. Not uneven edge bevel, uneven blade grind. This side sharpened up just the same as the other probably dozen Shamans that I've sharpened. This side makes it look like there's almost like a little recurve down by the heel. But it's an illusion, but it's ugly to me. I don't know if you guys will notice it or not. I mean, I'm super OCD, but it really bothered me. It bothered me so much that I spent like 12 hours sharpening this thing. I sharpened it completely the first time and wasn't happy with the looks. So without even testing sharpness or any of that, I just went back to the 50 or the F80 that Cody gifted to me. So this sharpening was a thank you in return to that. But yeah, went right back to the F80 and started working it out and got it as good as I think it's possibly going to get. This is sharpened at 16 degrees right now. Finished with the Veneve F400, which, for those of you who don't know, that's approximately 1,000 grit. Veneve uses the FIFA grit scale, which is different than just standard grit. And you would have to look up the conversion chart. It's not like a 1-for-1 conversion. It's really kind of strange, but yeah, happy with how it came out. Super sharp. This one came in at 36 on the best tester. Insanely sharp. So thank you all for watching. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. You know, say a prayer that I have a good weekend, good safe weekend, and have fun and get to catch up with some good friends and all that good stuff. So anyways, I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.